Coach, first off, talk about the second half and the comeback and just what that means to this group.
In the big picture, it's huge. I mean, we played one of the best schedules in the country, and our guys have kept working even though we haven't always gotten results. We've lost some tough games, some very close games, some games that, I mean, doubt can creep in a little bit. And when you get down as much as we did, to come back and fight and believe and compete, that's a big-time win. I'd love to say we had all the answers at halftime, and it wasn't even yelling and screaming. It wasn't anything. It was, we talked about consistency, and it starts in practice and competing every day. And we have guys that compete all the time. We had some guys that stepped up their competitive level in the second half, and it started with them. They made the decision that we're going to guard. We gave up 48, I think, in the first half, and to hold them to 29 with some of them being desperation baskets at the end is impressive. And I mean, we've tried some zone the last couple of days to help us defensively and make them think what we're working. And the one thing I did say is at halftime, we're done with this zone. We're going to be a defensive team, and we're going to try to stop them. If we can't, we'll keep working to get better. And today we got it done man to man in the second half, and we dug in and got stops.
Talk about the sequence late in the first half. I think Marcus hit a three, Nate hit a three, and I think Pete had 2 free throws in between. It was like a moment where you guys finally got some points on the board and started to build the beginnings of that comeback.
Absolutely, and we brought it back a little bit, and then we were gassed, and I'd already used the timeout and wanted to have timeouts at the end. I thought about fouling, and then we would score, and I'm like, just get one stop, and we couldn't get back in it because of that. And then I felt we regrouped a little bit, and we cut it to 6 right before half. And honestly, last year that shot right before the break would have been the game for us. That would have broke our backs. And we went in there. It was still 9. We said we got a chance. If you do our stuff, it's the second half of a GLIAC road trip. They're not going to make as many threes in the second half. The legs set in a little bit, and if you come out and you execute and make them work and get after it on the defensive end, you'll have a chance to win the game, and that's what happened.
Talk about Dawson and just the effort he put in. Was it 19 points, career high? Just seemed like he was everywhere when you needed him to be.
He made some big baskets for us, and he's getting a lot better. And the crazy thing is, by the end of February, he's probably going to take the biggest jump because he's still so raw and just starting to figure it out and still growing into his body and that. He's going to make just enormous jumps the more playing time he gets and the more we keep going into him. And he gave us a big lift in that stretch where we expanded the lead a little bit. He had some huge plays, some huge putbacks, and that was awesome.
They have good size. How important was it to get him going inside so that you were getting points in there and didn't have to rely on a 3 or anything from the outside?
Ever since Dan's been out with his injuries, we've been going inside a lot. And that's historically Michigan Tech basketball, playing inside out, getting paint touches, getting there. And he's developing more confidence. And one of the big things, even when there's not always the best result, if you have 44-1 for Wayne State, just bully you inside, and then you don't even try to make them play defense, then they're getting their perfect scenario. They can be really physical on that end and just rest on defense. And going at him, I mean, he drew a lot of fouls. Rob got in there, drew a couple fouls. Pete drew a couple fouls on him. At the end of the game, obviously they both fouled out, and you know what? It's awesome, and Dodge is going to keep getting better, and we're going to keep throwing it in there.
You didn't have to rely on Marcus to put up 30-something tonight. You still put up 20. But, having that balance had to be so much better than having to rely on strictly him.
No, 100%. And the one thing Marcus did, and it's awesome, is he doesn't need to score. I mean, he made timely shots. He still hit 4 or 5 threes, which is wonderful, but at the same time, there was a lot of times where his cut opens up the next action, and he's okay with that. And he's not going to get an assist for it, but him making a hard cut, which is hard to do. It's hard work. I'm not saying hard to do, but it's hard work, especially when you're playing as many minutes as he does, opens up the next guy and the next shot. And that's putting the team first, and that's good offense.
You also got some good timely scoring from Nate, from Josh. How important is it to get more offense from the other guys there?
No, the better we get at running our offense, the better everything flows. When we start getting 4 or 5 guys in double figures, and we have 7, 8 guys that on a given night could score double figures, that's when this team is going to peak. Those guys were great. It was awesome. Adam Hobson gave us a huge lift. It's been a tough week for him. It wasn't a demotion. It was we needed a true 5 in there and getting guys to their positions, and he was kind of a little bit of the odd man out in the rotation, and that's tough to do. And the way he responded today was awesome for us. I was really happy for him.
How do you build off this now moving forward?
This is one of those situations where you want to play right away, and we got finals. So honestly, we're going to rest. Hopefully they do a lot of studying and knock the finals out, and we'll probably do a light workout one of the days, but then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, get ready for 2 huge tests next week in the non-conference finales.